All right. Hey, everybody. Mr. Gillespie here. And today, what I'm going to be doing is, um, hey, everybody. Mr. Gillespie here. And what we are going to be doing today is beginning the process of creating your individual career and academic plan, or what we like to call the ICAP. All right. Now, to kick things off, what I wanted to do is just kind of quickly go over exactly what the ICAP is all about. So basically, the purpose of the ICAP is to ensure that when you graduate from Liberty High School, you're graduate ready to move forward and be successful in whatever it is that you plan on doing afterwards. Okay, this is something that the state of Missouri has really tried to implement in schools all around the state. A lot of other school districts have kind of embraced these ICAPs, these plans, and so we're going to do the same. And so the goal of the ICAP then is to really help you guys put together a sequence of courses and experiences that you guys will have over the course of your 4 years of high school that will help get you to achieving your post-secondary goals, right? And so ideally, the way that this works is that we get these plans in place no later than your freshman year of high school. So that's why we're getting these going right now. Um, and then we're going to review them regularly, at least once per year, probably around or just before enrollment time every year, just to kind of make sure that um, they're up to date, that they're usable, that they're working for you. And then again, ideally, when you graduate, you'll be able to take these plans with you into college or into the workforce or whatever it is that you are going to do after high school. And you can kind of continue to implement these strategies in whatever it is that you do after you leave us at the end of your 4 years here. Okay, so that's kind of a quick overview of the ICAP. And so, what exactly does it entail? Well, there are a lot of things that we're going to be going over here with the ICAP, but basically, an ICAP is going to ensure that over the course of 4 years you meet all of the graduation requirements. That we are taking into account your career goals, your post-secondary goals, and that we have a plan in place to get you to where you're achieving those goals after graduation. It includes all of your coursework, the programs of study that are going to help you to accomplish those goals, to achieve what you've set out to achieve. And then it's also going to include some things outside of school, job and career-related experiences that you may take advantage of over the next couple of years. Maybe things like job shadowings or internships or real-life work experiences that help kind of further you in getting to where you want to be. And then last but not least, we're taking into consideration different assessment tools, interest inventories, your academic results, so your test scores, your grades, things like that, to make sure that this plan is as accurate as it can be, and then it works for you, right? That it's actually truly benefiting you in getting you to where you want to be. All right. So those are kind of the different things that we're going to be looking at and considering as we put together this ICAP over the next couple of years. So what you see in front of you here on the screen is just kind of a screenshot of what the ICAP template is going to look like. And in a little bit, I'm going to actually show you kind of how to go about filling it out. But basically, this template can be filled out online. It can be done electronically, which is what I'm going to be doing with you here today. Or if you prefer, you can always print the document out and fill it out by hand, and it can be done that way as well. Okay. But the first thing that you're going to be looking at, that we're going to be doing here today, as we start creating this ICAP, is looking at what are your post-secondary goals? What are your career goals? What do you see yourself doing in the long term? And we're going to be putting those things down so that, as we move forward, these are always kind of at the forefront of the decisions that we make regarding your 4 years here in high school. Okay, so we're going to be looking at your post-secondary goals, kind of plugging those in. And if you're somebody that's sitting here thinking right now, oh my gosh, Mr. Gillespie, I'm a freshman, I don't know what I want to do in the future. Okay, that's understandable. That I get it. So then, for you, what you might want to do is spend some time utilizing some of the different tools available to you on Navient Student to explore your interests, explore the different career fields that are out there in the world of work today, to kind of get a better idea of what your goals are and where you see yourself headed. Okay, not that we're locking ourselves into anything right now, but we at least kind of want to know a direction, a general idea of where we see ourselves going in the future, because those goals are going to help us to kind of create this plan for how we're going to move forward and achieve them. So when we're talking about our post-secondary goals or our career goals, we're really going to start kind of broad by considering what career path do I see myself going down in the future. All right, career paths are 6 broad career categories that you can actually see listed here in the hexagons on the chart in front of you. All right, so there are 6 of them: health services, industrial and engineering technology, human services, natural resources and agriculture, business management and technology, and arts and communication. So you want to look at those and kind of figure out, okay, which one appeals to me the most, all right? And you'll get that plugged in there, all right? So that's kind of your broad career path. Then from there, we can kind of break it down a little bit further into career clusters. So each career path has some related career clusters, some different careers that share similar features, similar training requirements, that are housed kind of under those larger umbrellas, the career paths. All right, once you've selected a career cluster that kind of interests you, then we can kind of take it one step further and kind of refine these goals a little bit more by breaking them down into career pathways. All right, the pathways are kind of defined as occupations that are grouped according to shared commonalities, things like skill sets, common roles, and so on. So let's say that I'm considering the human services path, all right, the helping path. I like to help people, all right? And, I look at the different career clusters that are housed underneath that path. And so I'm seeing things like human services, hospitality and tourism, government and public administration, law, public safety, corrections, security, education and training, all right? I look at those 5 career clusters and I'm like, I think I really just like, regular old human services, all right? So I could select the human services career cluster. And then underneath the career cluster, all right, I look at the career pathways, the different directions that I could go within human services, and I see that counseling and mental health services is one of those, right? That's what I want to do. I want to go into counseling. I want to go into mental health services. And so that would be the career pathway that I would select and kind of put down on my ICAP form, all right, as my post-secondary goal. All right. So we're putting down our career goals. And what we also want to be considering is that, if we kind of have these different careers that we're interested in, that we see ourselves going into, we want to be considering, okay, what type of training am I going to need to have in order to pursue that career, right? Is it a 4-year college degree? Is it a 2-year college program? Can I do the military? Can I do an apprenticeship? Like, what does that training look like, all right? So you kind of put down what you see yourself doing as far as the training. And then we move forward to, identifying if there are any other goals along the way that we're hoping to achieve. So, do I hope to be an NCAA athlete when I get to college? If so, mark it down. Let us know that that's something that you are aspiring to do. And then we as counselors, we as people here within the school can help support you in getting to where you want to be and realizing that goal. If you're wanting to qualify for A+ and get 2 years paid for, let us know. Put that down on this ICAP so that we can work with you to help ensure that you get there. And then if there are other awards or certificates that you're shooting for, awesome, put those on there as well. Because again, we want to partner with you along the way to help make those things become a reality. All right. So that's what we're talking about here when we talk about kind of defining our goals, and those goals are what we're going to use the rest of the way as we complete the remainder of the ICAP. Okay. So the next step that we're going to take once we've identified our goals, we've defined them, we've got them listed out there, is we're going to start creating a personal plan of study. All right. The plan of study is basically just a 4-year plan that you can that you can kind of create, that lists all the courses that you plan to take over your 4 years of high school to get you to where you want to be in the long run. All right. And I realize that, starting out, this can be intimidating, but I do want you to know that this plan isn't something that's set in stone. We're not locking you into any courses for your senior year right now. But what we do want to do is just make sure that you're thinking ahead. Okay. And so if you know that you want to go into mental health counseling, like I have mentioned earlier, well, then let's be looking at what classes can you be taking over the next couple of years to help you get there. If your goals change, then we'll revise the plan, okay, so that it continues to work for you no matter what direction you decide to go in for your future. So, as I mentioned before, a lot of students, especially my freshmen, they hear about this and that they've got to kind of map out their 4 years of high school. And I noticed that initially a lot of people get really intimidated. A lot of people get really stressed out about this process. And I do want to say right now that don't make it more stressful than it needs to be. Right? In fact, you guys have already created, you've already done half the work already. Okay? Your 9th grade classes, you've already taken them. Okay? So all you have to do in the 9th grade section is just plug in the classes that you're taking this year or that you have taken this year. All right, moving forward in the 10th grade section, you've already signed up for your classes for your sophomore year. All right? So all we need to do is just plug in the classes that you've already enrolled in. And then that section's complete as well. So all we're really looking at here, the only decisions that you need to make are the decisions for your 11th and 12th grade years. And to do that, our district has actually created programs of study, which you can find in the Liberty Pathways section of the district's website. And those can kind of walk you through if you know you want to go into human services, into counseling. They give you recommendations for the types of classes that maybe you might want to consider taking in order to get to where you want to be. Okay? So again, don't make it harder than it needs to be. If you already know the classes that you want to take, great, plug those in there. But if you don't, all right, we do have resources available to you so that you're not just having to take a blind stab in the dark in making these decisions on your own without any knowledge or support. Okay? And then beyond that, once you kind of piece together that initial ICAP, you piece together that plan of study, then you and I will be sitting down and we'll be meeting together in the upcoming weeks to look over that plan and just make sure that it truly does meet your needs, that it meets all the graduation requirements. Okay, so that way you can rest assured that if you stick to the plan, you're going to graduate on time. And then we can also look at, are there other things that maybe you might want to consider based on what you say your goals are. Okay, so we'll look it over and just make sure that it's going to work for you. All right, just as kind of a little checks and balance. Once you've got your career goals lined out, once you have your plan of study created, now we move on to the second page of the ICAP, which, really there's not a whole lot that we'll be able to fill out right now in your freshman year. A lot of it are things that you'll be adding to it as the years go on. But what we're talking about here are things like listing the activities you're doing outside the classroom that are helping you to get to where you want to be, to achieve those post-secondary goals. And then tracking your progress, tracking your accomplishments as you move through your high school career, in kind of a way that is similar to a resume. All right. And so, like I said, some of these sections you won't be able to do right now, and that's okay. But each year when we come back to the document and we revise it, we review it, that's when you'll be able to kind of go in and add some of the things that have taken place since the last time that we really got on this and started filling it out. Okay, so it is a working document. All right, so that's kind of the ICAP in a nutshell. And I know I've thrown a lot of information at you. And so what I'd like to do right now is to get you actually onto the ICAP document and actually get a chance to walk you through what this looks like in real life. Okay, so if you could get on your student email, all right, and look for an email or a document that was sent from me to you. And when you find that, what I'd like for you to do is to open it up, and it's going to prompt you to save it as a new file. Okay? So the way that I'd like for you guys to save it is to put your last name, comma, first name, ICAP 2022, and that's for your graduation year. Okay? So that's how we'll kind of keep them organized. So last name, comma, first name, ICAP 2022. So if it were me, in my document, it would be Gillespie, comma, Scott, ICAP 2022. Then, once you've got it saved, what I'd like for you to do is to share it with me. All right, that way you and I can collaborate on the document. And again, just make sure that what we're creating is something that is truly going to be usable for you, that's going to be beneficial for you. All right, so share that with me. That way I can look it over and help support you in the process. And then once you've done that, you're free to start filling it out. Okay? So I'm going to exit out of the presentation now at this point, and I'm going to kind of walk you through exactly what I'm talking about here. All right? So when you click on the document that I've sent you, it's going to tell you to make a copy. So when you click on that, it's going to come up with a new copy of first ICAP 2022. And this is where you're going to go in and just plug in your last name, first name, and then you can keep the rest the same. Okay? So you're going to do that. And then you'll come over here, and this is where you will go and you will share it with me. All right? So you can just type in Gillespie, and then I'll come up right here. All right? So you can share it with me there. All right? So what I'm going to do is just flip over here now to the document that I've kind of started for myself so that I can kind of explain exactly what I've been talking about. So you can see I filled mine out, Gillespie, comma, Scott, ICAP 2022. Now down here I've started to fill it out. All right, so I put my name in there, put my graduation year. Now it's time for me to start really defining what my goals are. All right, so as I mentioned before, I'm interested in human services. The career cluster I'm interested in, and this is because I looked at the document earlier. I want human services. And then the pathway is counseling and mental health services. All right. So that's my program of study there. And then additional post-secondary preparation. I do want to try to qualify for A+, so I'm going to check that box. I'm not really going, at this point, I don't see myself going for any of these other things, so I'm just going to leave those blank. And then as I scroll down to post-secondary goals, this is where I want to define that my goal is to become a high school counselor. All right. Now again, this is me. Your goals will likely be very different. But this is just kind of the general process that I'm going to have you follow. Right. Now, to become a high school counselor, I know that I need to move on to a 4-year college or university. So I'm just going to click on that. And now I'm ready to actually get on to my plan of study. All right. So as you'll see here, yours looks blank, but I've already gone in and plugged in the classes that I took during my freshman year. All right. I plugged in that I took ELA 9, American History, Geometry, Honors Biology, a full year of weight training, German 1, Chorale. Those were my 7 periods in my schedule during my freshman year. I also plugged in the classes that I've signed up for my sophomore year, all right, because that's already been done. So I signed up for Advanced ELA 10, Regular World History, Algebra 2, Honors Theochem. I'm sticking with German, so German 2. I auditioned for a concert choir, I got in, and then I want to go ahead and just keep moving forward with science. It's something I'm interested in, so I signed up for biology 2. All right, so there are my seven periods for next year's schedule. Now, I also have decided that I'm going to take summer school to get health and personal finance out of the way. So what I can do here is I can plug in, because I got some extra room, health, summer, personal finance, summer, all right, and then those also will add up to 1 credit. All right, so you can see that I'm plugging all of that in there just so that kind of I'm keeping track of my progress toward graduation and meeting all those requirements. Now, we're moving on to junior and senior years. And so because I don't know all of what's available to me right now, what I'm going to do is go up here to where it says Programs of Study. And when I click on there, all right, I can actually go right into Human Services and click on the social services pathway, and now I've got that program of study available that I can use to kind of help walk me through selecting classes for my junior and senior years. Another thing that I can do is actually get on to the College and Career Services website and look at our course catalog. Okay, so you can go to the course book search, and I want the 1920 enrollment, so it's the most up to date. There we go. And now, let's say I'm not quite sure what's available to me for ELA for 11th grade. I can do that, click search, and then come down here and see all the classes that are options for me. All right. I look through and I decide, you know what, I'm just going to do Advanced ELA 11. So I come back here to my form, type Advanced ELA 11. For social studies, I know that it's either American Gov and Econ or AP Government, and so I think I'm interested in trying to do a college credit class. Do AP Gov. For math, all right, I've taken geometry, I've taken algebra 2, so now I'm going to move on because when I look at this program of study, I don't see anything here that says I necessarily need to go into pre-calculus and calculus and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and plan to do college algebra. And then for science, since I kept moving forward with biology 2, I'm going to just keep that trend going and go with AP Bio. All right. And so those are the 4 core subject areas. Now for me, I really like German So I'm just going to plan on taking German 3. And I'm also super passionate about choir, so I'm going to stick with concert choir. And now I'm just left with really one more class period to fill out my junior year. So I'm going to go back here to the program of study and look at some of the things that that it recommends if I want to go into counseling and stuff like that. And it mentions that maybe child development would be a good idea. And so I'm going to go ahead and give that a shot. So I'll do child development 1 and then maybe sociology 1 for second semester. Okay. Those all sound kind of interesting. So child development 1, which is now called Intro to Child Development. And then sociology 1. Okay. So that rounds out my junior year. And then for senior year now, I know that I want to take college composition. Just leave it abbreviated. I'm done with social studies now. But one of the things that's recommended is psychology. And that's definitely something I'm really interested in. So I'm going to plan to do AP Psych. All right, AP Psychology. Math. I know I need to take a 4th year of math. And since I already did college algebra, maybe this time I'll do AP Stats. AP Statistics. Okay. I did, again, really like German, so I might as well just stick with it. So I do German 4. Still doing concert choir. I'm not going to give that up. And then, since I did child development 1, now I could actually move forward and do something like maybe child growth and development. Okay, so I'm going to give that a shot. And then, since I finished AP Bio and everything, and that was good, do they give me any more suggestions here? Things maybe I might want to take? Yeah, maybe I'll try human body systems. All right, kind of an anatomy and physiology type course. Okay. And all of these are 1 credit. Perfect. Okay. So I have filled out my personal plan of study. All right, the first page of my ICAP is now completed. Now I'm ready to move on to page 2, which, like I said, a lot of page 2 I probably won't be able to do at the beginning of my freshman year. But co-curricular activities, I mentioned that I'm in chorale. Okay, so I can plug that in there. I'm not working or doing anything, job-wise, but I do volunteer a little bit. So I could put that I volunteer at Harvesters. Okay, and then extracurricular activities. Well, I did do cross country. I'm going to be doing track. I've gotten involved in breakfast club. There's some things that I plan to do in the future, but for now, these are the clubs and activities that I've gotten involved in. So I got those listed now. Haven't taken any of these assessments or anything. As far as the Naviance activities, I did do the career cluster inventory earlier this year. So I can put that there. And I haven't done any scholarship or college applications or anything. So at this point, I'm pretty much done with the initial sections of my ICAP. All right, and so if you have shared those with me, all right, now I, as your counselor, can go and look through those, and when we meet in the next couple of weeks, then we can kind of go through and kind of talk and make sure that um, the things that you've got on there, that they meet all the graduation requirements, that they will help to get you to where you want to be in the long run. And assuming that everything checks out, then we are good, at least for the initial portions of this, and we'll come back to it here in another year or so, look it over, make any adjustments that we need to make, and then we'll move forward accordingly. All right. So with the time that you have remaining, go ahead and, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and get started on working on your ICAP. Whatever you don't finish here during this advisory class period, continue to work on over the course of the next couple of days, the next week or so. And then be on the lookout for an email from me to set up a meeting with you and I to go over your plan. And that way we can just make sure everything checks out, that we're on the same page, and that you've got the support that you need moving forward. Okay? So thank you so much for your attention. I know this was a lot of information, but hopefully you will come to find this all very beneficial, very helpful, and I look forward to being able to meet with you guys here in the next couple of weeks to go through all of your information. And yeah, good luck. Talk to you soon.